So, what makes a good hero to you? Well, how about this guy? He looks pretty good. I mean, he's got a beard, he has a sword, and he's wearing all, like armor. He's all standing heroically. The sun is beaming down on him. Seems like he could kill some bandits pretty effectively. And what about this kid? Yeah, I mean, he looks a little young, and his shirt and the hair scream, "Hey guys, punch me in the face." But that said, he does indeed have a sword, and there's a gun attached to it. That's got to count for something. And his shoes look like they're pretty hefty. I guess maybe he could hold his own. Hey, you know what? Let's toss aside the gender stereotypes. How about this chick? She already looks tougher than the last guy. I mean, she's got a gun, some cool, otherworldly, probably glow-in-the-dark tattoos. The clothes are clearly made to keep her nimble and yet offer some protection. Like these knee pads. She could kill you. Now what about this guy? I mean, as far as looks go, he's hard to beat. He's really big, he's got a Gatling gun for a hand, he's got a tattoo there, gigantic shoes, his torso is wrapped in metal, that's probably worth mentioning. He's got, his fist is twice the size of his head, and obviously the icing on the cake is that he's black. Got a beard, which as we've already established is the surefire mark of a hero. Alrighty, so there we have it. Who is the greatest hero? Anyone with a beard. Helps if you're black. Thanks for watching, guys, and may a busload of supermodels find their way to your crotch by day's end. Let's go a smidge deeper. Motivation. I made another video once about villains, and why I thought some were better, or I guess maybe worse, than others. Because I mean, sometimes a dude can do some really bad stuff, but if it's for a noble goal, then the means could possibly justify the ends, at least to some people. The point is here, sometimes you can do really bad things, but for a good cause. Can you do good things for a bad cause? Okay, it's definitely a stretch to say that one could do tons of good things for evil reasons. But there are still factors here and there that might make one good guy gooder than another good guy. Like, say, a mercenary demon knight who's hired to fight for the good guys is inherently less good than a good guy who's just good because of an inborn need to do good. Now I know what you're thinking, and you're right. Everything I've said so far is pretty obvious. So the question is, who is the noblest, most honorable, most valiant, selfless, and of course, heroic hero of them all? Well, my first candidate is probably exactly who you thought of too. Why, of course, it's Yuna. Alright, I'm going to be moving pretty fast over plot points in this, but this should give you an idea of why Yuna is just about as well-rounded as it gets when it comes to heroics. Now, when we first encounter Yuna, she's 17 years old. She's kind, loyal, and honest, and always strives to see the best in others, even to her own fault and detriment. As you'll find while playing the game, she has a strong conviction to complete whatever task she feels is her duty. She really does show that she's willing to give up everything, even her own life, if it means helping everyone else. Given the fact that her taking this quest upon herself is voluntary and requires her to work incredibly hard for a couple weeks and then die, calling her a humanitarian who places others' needs ahead of her own is a substantial understatement. Naturally, Yuna is a devout follower of the teachings of Yevon, which is essentially a worldwide religion. On that note, Final Fantasy X takes on some pretty hefty subject matter that is really anything but fictional. The story generally focuses on this religion and, for lack of a better way of putting it, how trusting in some unseen higher power will let you down in the end. They also throw in some bits about how the higher-ups in this religion are hypocrites and don't even follow their own teachings. As the story progresses, it becomes pretty clear that Yuna is indeed partly scared and sad about the path she's chosen, but instead of expressing that, she encourages her traveling companions to express themselves in her place. Case in point, although her journey begins as a religious pilgrimage, after quite a long while, Yuna does discover that, surprise surprise, the folks running her religion are hypocrites, who teach one thing while not following that themselves. In fact, the highest up of them all eventually explains to Yuna that sin can't be destroyed no matter what. He will always come back, and the best she can do by following this journey she's on is to make things better for just a little while. Think of it like the One setup from the Matrix. It's just an elaborate system to build up naive hope for the little people and retain control for the big people. Then he tries to have Yuna killed, but naturally fails. Now at this point her faith is obviously shaken, so she naturally considers giving up her quest as a summoner, but eventually decides to press on. Why? Well, to paraphrase her words, her quest isn't for herself, it's for Spira, to bring peace to the world, whether that means for a little while or forever. And so, she continues on, all the way up to the final stop on the pilgrimage, where she meets up with someone named Yuna Leska, who Yuna happens to be named after. Yuna Leska explains that the final stage of the summoning process is simple. All you got to do is sacrifice the person closest to you. They will then transform into the final Aeon and kill Sin, and then lose control and kill the summoner, in this case being Yuna. Sounds pretty crappy, huh? Well, Yuna definitely thinks so, and so she just decides to kill Yuna Leska, ending the tradition of the final summoning. And then she decides to just figure out a way to kill Sin and restore peace forever, and preferably without her having to die. And so they just decide to fight Sin head on, and of course this being a story of good versus evil, they do fight their way through the giant abomination and eventually find this final Aeon. Although it's not Yuna's, it's Braska's, who's Yuna's dad. And that's a long story, but like I said, I'm moving pretty quick through the plot. And man, this boss battle has one lame battle theme. Am I right, guys? Oh, anyone? No? Okay. And then the man himself, Yu Yevon, shows up, and he's actually Yuna Leska's pops. Anyway, he proceeds to possess each one of Yuna's Aeons, and it's actually pretty sad as she then has to kill them all, one by one, as he possesses them. And when she's out of Aeons, they just go ahead and kill Yu Yevon too. Now points have to go to Tidus as well. Yeah, I said Tidus. Since this entire time, he's been fully aware that as soon as Yuna succeeds in her plan, he's going to simply disappear. Like, just cease to exist. So after the final battle, instead of the credits rolling and Yuna and Tidus settling into a nice one-room grass hut somewhere, Yuna says she loves him, and then he jumps off a friggin' airship. Interesting, but completely unrelated factoid, in the Japanese version of the game, right before Tidus disappears, Yuna just thanks him. You know, that's a pretty low blow. That would be one awful time to find out that you were friend-zoned during the entire trip. So, once again, instead of Yuna getting her own happiness in the end, living out her life with the dude she loves, or at least the dude that she'll use to help her move and paint her toenails, she gives it up for everyone else. And I gotta say, that's pretty heroic. I've got no segue to lead into this next one, but here's one you may have seen coming. Chrono. What I like about Chrono is that he's just about as regular as it gets. I mean, if you'll recall, when he woke up in the morning on that fateful day when his adventure started, all he had planned was to head to the fair and hang out with a buddy of his. But at the first sign of trouble, the kid was totally willing to jump into the unknown and try to help someone he hardly knew. Now, clearly, since the guy likes to walk around with a wooden katana, he's got some training or at least interest in combat, but notwithstanding, his bravery in the face of the complete unknown is pretty amazing. As the game progresses, he continues to show that he's just a stand-up guy. Especially when he, along with his buddies, decide to do whatever it takes to save the planet from a fate that really doesn't even concern them, since they would all long since be dead when it happened. But what really sets Chrono apart from most people is that eventually he actually gives his life for his team, totally removing him from the game for a while, or, depending on how you as the player decide to proceed, even permanently. So, who is the greatest hero? There isn't one. But to me, these two figures have a lot in common that would really be a given. I mean, yeah, sure, in one way or another, they are capable of beating the crap out of a lot of stuff, but more than that, they just want to help. They generally want to improve the world around them, not for the money, but because they put others' needs before their own. So maybe there isn't a greatest hero or whatever. But I will go on record to say that willingness to improve the situation around you, or, like in Chrono's case, make the future a better place, is indeed the metaphysic of a hero. Good evening, or morning, or afternoon, wherever it is. Thanks for watching, everybody, and before I say this next thing, let's get some sad music playing, Maestro. That's not sad at all. I mean, that's not what I have in mind. I really need something to just, this is sad news that I have to announce. Alright, now you're just screwing with me. Seriously, turn that off. I don't like the song. There's nothing wrong with me liking it. I don't have to like it, just because most people think it's, oh, a nice change. I don't like it. Just play something sad. Just, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Just keep it there. Yep. All right, that's good. Okay, everyone. This will be my last video for the year. But I'll be back next year. So long as there's still YouTube to come back to anyway, with all this copyright nonsense going on. Hey, since I'm already talking and my channel's been around for a while and I've still really never done this, I wanted to reach out to the folks that watch my stuff every time I upload and offer my sincerest thanks. Seriously, I mean, I know you know who you are, and actually I know who you are too, because you comment. Seriously, thank you. To those who maybe forget, please do like, favorite, and share in whatever ways you can think of. Let your friends know what I'm trying to accomplish here on my channel in whatever ways you can think of. And thanks to you who already do. I really do appreciate the success that I've had, since I started the channel, and I would really love for 2014 to be the year it really starts to take off. And just one more thing. If you're an artist and you're willing to help me rebrand my channel a little bit with a better channel banner and a channel thumbnail, because I just worked up what I could back a few months ago and I'm clearly no good at it, I'd love to have artwork that's more not sucky. Only way I can do that is by reaching out to you. So thanks for listening, and see you guys next year.